Alright, what's up guys? Hold on, let me see if I can get this correct. I want to make sure my full screen is fitting. Wait then, yeah, that should be good. Alright, gotta make sure y'all are seeing the full screen real quick. Alright, shoot. Okay, that should be good. Alright. We are acting to Black Bear Atheist.
Hello and welcome to Black Bear Atheist. I have not covered a Ask Cliff channel's content in a while, so I'm gonna check out some of his short. And we're just gonna scroll and see what's interesting.
What is the central issue of the Christian faith that has incredible historical evidence and reliability around it? That's Jesus Christ's life, death, and resurrection. And immediately, the eyewitnesses of what happened started talking about it to others. And that's why thousands of people came to believe in him and what happened and were willing to give their lives for it. Not because they believed in some type of lie and propagated that.
Hold on, people do believe in lies and they're able to be as passionate as the people that were followers of Jesus.
Okay, so people can believe lies, but they can't believe something they know to be a lie. If it's something they know to be a lie, they're not going to die for it.
So that's just not a logic that you can even follow. Again, I point this to Christians 9/11. It might seem like a no-brainer, I guess, in a sense, but 9/11.
What about 9/11?
These people strongly believe enough to kill themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It's really not no different.
Okay, but they strongly believed it, but it's still a lie. Okay, you can strongly believe a lie, but these eyewitnesses claim to be eyewitnesses to, and they died for their belief that they saw Jesus resurrected from the dead. So it's different because they're eyewitnesses, and if they knew they were lying, then they wouldn't have died for it.
From the early Christians after they pass it on. You just believe it on faith. It's the same thing, just believing on faith. And just because people
They weren't believing on faith; they were believing on what they saw, and and there's so many people who saw it. The over 500 eyewitnesses, according to an oral tradition that was first written down in it was the first time it was written down was in 1 Corinthians 7, chapter 15. Yeah, chapter 15. Don't know exactly what verse, but it was written down first in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, and so it's an oral tradition that historians date back to as early as within months of Jesus' death, and as late as 3 years. As late as 3 years after Jesus' death. Anywhere from a few months to 3 years after Jesus' death is when this oral tradition originated. And so these people, they weren't dying because of faith. They were dying because what they believed to have seen, and what they had seen was the risen Jesus. And 500 of them with multiple group appearances, there's no way that could be hallucination. So the only explanation for them dying for it, and the only explanation to them dying for it, and multiple group appearances is that he actually rose from the dead. All right, let's keep going.
who believe it,
And you can't say, well, there's just claims that 500 people saw it. Okay, well, there's just claims that like for any historical event. There's just claims for the Holocaust. You could say there's pictures and there's videos, or you could say it's staged. You could say it's all fake. Like, okay,
Does not make it true. It just doesn't.
that lie. No, they saw it happened. And they would say, this is the God of the universe. I better be willing to give up my life for him. And so, what was preached?
Also, why would the God of the universe need you to give up your life, for him? That doesn't.
because if you deny, Jesus said, if you deny me before man, I will deny you before my Father in heaven. So if you deny Jesus, you need to be willing to lay down your life for him, because you love him so much. The Hebrew word for God's love, I can't remember how it's pronounced, but the Hebrew word for God's love, it literally means the willingness to lay down your life for someone. And, God literally did. He laid down his life for us all, and we need to love him back enough to lay down your life and stay with him and stay loyal to him. Like, take other people you love, like your mother. You'd be willing to die for your mother, willing to die for your siblings, for your father, for your family. And if God loves you enough to die for you, you need to be willing to love him enough to live for him, and you need to be prepared to face persecution for him and stay loyal in the faith and stay loyal to him, even if it results in death.
Doesn't make any sense. The God of the universe wouldn't need you to give up your life.
No, he doesn't need it, but he loves you so much and he wants you to love him back. And when you love someone, you want that person to love you back, and it hurts when they don't. So yeah, he wants you to love him back because he loves you so much.
For his cause.
You need to be clicking that subscribe button right there. Click that subscribe button.
Why didn't he
Also, like the live and subscribe.
just do his own job for himself? I don't know, like telling every human and appearing everywhere instead of just a specific place. Being the God of everyone instead of just a specific group.
He is the God of everyone. So you need to have true faith in Jesus. And there's so let's think. Let's think about this logically. If it's an all-loving God, he would probably give us free will because he doesn't want us to be like robots and he doesn't want to force us to do anything. And he'd probably want to have a punishment for evil people and people who do bad. Yeah, and a loving God would probably, would reveal himself in history, to prove his existence, and he'd probably love us and be forgiving if we love him back, and offer a way to spend eternity with him. But he wouldn't want to force anyone who doesn't love him to love him back, so he wouldn't force anyone into heaven. So, wait, doesn't that sound like Christianity? Huh. Yeah. Also, appearing to everyone, like, he shouldn't have to. I mean, he appeared, and he will appear to everyone. He will. He revealed himself to humanity back then, and I saw an aspiring philosophy video, I believe it was, about why Jesus had to come the time that he did, and he went in depth. You should go watch that. You should go check that out. It might have been Testify Apologetics, but I think it was Inspiring Philosophy. So yeah, but yeah. So he came, and we rejected him and we crucified him, and so like you're assuming that if he appeared to everyone, everyone would follow him. Not necessarily. Like, people would blame it on hallucination. People would think they're crazy. People would think they're just dreaming. Um, Richard Dawkins, he said that nothing would convince him of the existence of God. He said that even if the words "I am God" in multiple different languages was written in the sky, he still wouldn't believe in God, because there could be alien tricksters that are pulling a prank on us. Okay. So, not everyone would follow him if he appeared to everyone, and yeah, so, like, what?
Because we know these people were religious. They were religious in their own way and different gods. But God chooses a specific group to just be with.
He doesn't choose a specific group. He chooses, like, what? He doesn't choose a specific group. We have free will, and we choose to follow him or not.
For a long ass time. Why that?
He didn't have a specific group of people. Everyone was open to follow him, but people were resistant to him.
It doesn't make sense.
That's why we had the flood, because people were so wicked, and they were like half angels, half angel, half people, like creatures, and half human, half angel, like people that were going around, and the world was so wicked, and that's why we had the flood. I think the flood was one of the most loving events in the Old Testament. People will say it wasn't loving because a loving God would never kill everyone, but the world was terrible. The world was way worse than it was now, and there's just so much that was wrong with the world. So yeah, so people denied him, and he had the Israelites like stayed true to him, because they're the children of Abraham, and so they had that tradition, to back them up. But they were people who not the children of Abraham who denied who didn't have that tradition, so it was easier for them to deny God.
Look at 1 Corinthians 15, 3 through 8. Look at Philippians chapter 2. It was these early creeds that talked about who Jesus was, that he lived, died,
Exactly.
that 500 people saw him and witnessed him, that the disciples did. And they
Claims the 500
Whole new world. Whole new world with you. Whole new world with you. Watching Aladdin in the other room, and it's really loud. Sorry, and I was singing along. Nah, but okay. This creed, this early church creed, that he's talking about in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, this isn't just claims. These are people who, yeah, okay. This is this is documentation that okay, so let's take okay, what about surveys? What about surveys? Like, you can just say those are just claims. Like, this was basically a survey. They were like, okay, let's see how many people Jesus appeared to. You know, they were like, did Jesus appear to this person? 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 And they can, like, compile they can count, like, a head count of how many people Jesus appeared to. And so this isn't a claim. This is like this is the documentation that 500 people appeared to him. You can say any survey is just claims. Like, for example, if I go to an event, okay, and okay, let's say I go to a concert. Hold on. I'm just gonna use Taylor Swift as an example, because that's just a big author I know. How many people were in the largest Taylor Swift concert? 96,000 people went to her biggest show. Okay, that's just a claim. That's just a claim that 96,000 people saw her at that concert. It's just a claim that that's just a claim. That's just a claim. That 96,000 people didn't actually go to that concert. It's just a claim. $96,000 people didn't go to her concert. And it's just a claim. It's like, but they counted how many people bought tickets and they could see how many people walked in and blah, 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 blah. No, it's just a claim. It's just a claim. It's just a claim that 96,000 people bought tickets. It's just a claim. See how you could apply this to literally any scenario, to literally deny any event in all of history. Any event in all of history.
People saw him. That was from one person. Nobody really cares. Like, there's a claim from one person that 500 people saw him. We don't have accounts from
ASMR. Okay, so this guy wants an account of, he wants 96,000 accounts that, I went to the Taylor Swift concert. He wants 96,000 different accounts of people saying, I went to a Taylor Swift concert. Okay. Like, buddy, like, what you doing? Like, this is a terrible argument.
from 500 people. Like, if I claim 500 people saw me fly, I actually don't have written down a count of the people that saw me fly. I'm just saying 500 people saw it. I could put it.
You could say that about anything. 500 people saw me sing in Walmart. Like, okay. Okay, there's probably not going to be 500 people in a Walmart, but I don't know. 500 people. You can say that about, like, literally anything. Like, you don't need. If one person. Okay. If someone is documenting a survey, right? And they compile all the data and put it and say, and they just put one sentence saying, this many people, let's say it's a survey about what's your favorite ice cream flavor, and say 500 people, let's say there were 500 people asked what their favorite ice cream flavor is, right? And let's say 250 of them said chocolate, and 100 of them said mint chocolate, and another 100 said strawberry, then the other 50 all said vanilla. Like, this is just hypothetical, of course, but like, sorry, you know, but like, and then this person compiled all this evidence in the survey and said that, like, how many people said each ice cream flavor. Um, do you want each account of every single individual person saying, mine is chocolate, my favorite's chocolate, my favorite's vanilla, my favorite's mint chocolate chip, my favorite's strawberry, my favorite blah 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 blah? Do you want each account, or is it okay that the person who's taking the survey says, oh, hey, this many people said chocolate, this many people said vanilla, many people said strawberry, and this many people said mint chocolate. This many people said, whatever. Like, no, like, you don't need an account of each individual person.
Any damn number I want under.
Then that was preached basically at the very beginning and then grew and grew and grew. What?
Honestly, as much as I hate this two deal, the passion in the Stewarts and Cliff when they dance around the question is amazing. I find it better more than to like watch Frank Turek. He dance around the question, but not literally. But the passion.
They're not dancing around the question, boy. They're not dancing around the question. They're answering the question. Like, what? If you dance around the question, you're avoiding answering it.
The passion these people invoke, the passion these people like.
ASMR. Sorry.
Like, how passionate they are to like bending over and cracking their bones is amazing. And they physically do it.
President John Quincy Adams had a son, Charles Francis Adams. In the Encyclopedia Britannica, there's a...
Look at young Cliff. It sounds so different.
Wait, hold on. Also, going back to the accounts, what about all the accounts in France and in much of the Middle East of a lot of people claiming to see Jesus? This many people claiming to having the same vision of Jesus, or eerily similar visions of Jesus, and they're all coming to Jesus because they believe it's so real, not just an hallucination. And these people have no like history of hallucinations and things like that. So, like, what about all these? Like, hold on. If I can find it. Middle Eastern people having visions of Christ 2024. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this right here. Approximately 200 Muslims in Gaza recently came to Christ after they saw Jesus in visions and dreams and realized they had shared the same experience. How are you going to deny this? You can't just say, oh, all 200 people had the same hallucination. That is scientifically impossible. And what about the people in France? Um, I can't find it, but yeah, the Middle Eastern people. Look at that in Gaza. Look at that in the Bible. I will pour my spirit unto the earth. In the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all the people, and your sons and daughters will prophesy, your young men will see visions, and your old men will dream dreams. That's exactly what's happening in France and Gaza today. Wow. Look at that. This is undeniable evidence. Like, I'm going to make a video on this. I'm going to make a video on this. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Oh shoot. Almost dropped my Dr. Pepper. Bro, the new creamy coconut Dr. Pepper is actually fire, bro. Actually fire. Hold up 1 second, y'all. Hold up a second. Yeah. Hold on. Alright. Hold on, y'all. Hold up. Hold up just a second. Yeah, we ain't got no one. Alright. How delayed is... Hold on, y'all. Yeah, this is pretty delayed. The stream is, but... whatever. La 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 la.
Too a little different.
Half page on Charles Francis Adams. He followed in his father's footsteps as a politician. He was a U.S. diplomat to England. But there's no record in the Encyclopedia Britannica article of Charles Adams' family life. But we do have his diary. And there's one entry in his diary that's fascinating. Charles Francis Adams writes, "Spent the day with my son fishing. A wasted day."
I agree. Fishing is overrated. I might be insulted.
What? What did you say? Fishing's pretty fun. I think fishing can be boring if like you're not really catching nothing and nothing's really happening. But like if you're catching stuff, it's pretty fun. If you go to Florida or Louisiana and you go off the coast, oh my gosh, fishing on a boat in the sea, in the deep sea, it's so fun. Also, when I went to Florida, I live in Texas, but I went to Florida. I drove all the way there. Long trip. We stopped in New Orleans, and that was fun. But in Florida, we went off the we went like into the deep sea, right? And we were fishing, and there was this certain type of fish that like was like going around our boat and was like sticking around our boat, and they said, "Don't catch that, because that's hard to get off the hook, and we don't want to catch that. It's a bad fish to catch." And we're like, Okay, accidentally caught it, but like that was fun because it was an extra challenge. My mom caught an octopus, which is pretty fun, but it wasn't actually hooked. It was just like the weight on the line, and it like was like suctioned to the line. But it was pretty cool. We got to see the octopus, and fishing is like it was like probably the most fun I've had fishing. Um, yeah. So fishing's pretty fun.
Salty about it because I never really caught a lot of fish, and I spent hours on the ocean.
You suck. You're terrible at fishing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a waiting game for sure, but it's a waiting game for sure, but you just gotta be able to have fun with it, you know? You gotta be creative sometimes, you know, talk to the people around you're with. I don't really like fishing alone, but fishing with people is fun.
Which made me sick, and I was hoping to catch a fish. Yes, I am being salty for that. It's overrated.
No pun intended, right? Like salty, like salt water. No, right? Okay. Yeah. I'm not funny. I'm not funny. I've reviewed 5 minutes and 30. 5 minutes of this video in 30 minutes.
How fascinating our perspective is. His son also had a diary, and in that diary, on the same day, is written, "Spent a day fishing with my dad. The most wonderful day of my life."
How does this prove anything?
He's gonna get to that.
I guess we shall find out.
Tremendous love for his father, tremendous appreciation of time spent with his father. God has given us amazing gifts of being able to build friendships, relationships of love with other people.
What? Also, that was a one-sided love affair. The child loved the event, but the father clearly saw that that event was just a waste of time, which I would agree to. But if you don't like it, why do it? You could do literally any other thing with your son. This is also a waste of a video, by the way. A waste of a video from Cliff's side, at least.
The fact that something can be relative.
What? I'm not even gonna respond to that. Like, just gonna let it soak for a second. Let it soak. Shoo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-bop. A doo-bop. A shoo-ba-dee-doo-bop-dop-bop. A shoo-ba-dee-doo-bop-bop-bop. A boo-ba-dee-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Dum. Doo-ba-doo, shoo-ba-dee-doo. Shoo-ba-dee-doo-ah-da-bop-ba-da-bop-bow. It's elevator music. Alright, anyways, that's enough time for soaking. It's just...
And we can all hold it to be true. But something that is objective is that's science.
You can scientifically prove that you are of equal value to every single person here?
Yeah.
Scientifically prove that, please. You having equal value and he having equal value to you came directly out of the Christian faith. No other worldview.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Not from a Christian faith side, at least.
The fact that something can be relative and we can all hold it to be true. But something that is objective is that's science.
You can scientifically prove that you are of equal value to every single person here?
Yeah.
Scientifically prove that, please. You having equal value and he having equal value to you came directly out of the Christian faith. No other worldview.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Not from a Christian faith. People, and I wouldn't say from... I would say from science and from common sense and empathy. Science shows that we all humans and none of us are different. Like, just being brown skin doesn't...
Science doesn't say that. Science does not say that. That's not okay. But hold on 1 second. Just a second. I'm texting people. Wait, I'm back. Sorry. Scientifically, no. Um, if you look at it, we two of the countries that made the most scientific discoveries, like in like the time periods that they did it in, were like very like unethical. Um, Nazi Germany and uh, Funny Mustache Man Germany and USSR under Stalin, both very unethical and very unmoral places. They made a lot of scientific discoveries about the human body and about people, because they threw morals out and just like tested it on people. There's this one experiment. I can't remember which one. I think I think it was Nazi Germany, but I think it was the Nazis that did this, but it might have been um, USSR. But they got babies, and you can look this up. They got babies, newborn babies, and they took them away from their mother, and from all human interaction, they put them in a room with no windows, in a soundproof room, no windows, and they had no human interaction, and they just were thrown food. Those babies, just to see what happened, those babies started speaking the same language. And you know what language they started speaking? They started speaking ancient Hebrew. Let me look this up real quick. I could be wrong, but I was just told this. I'm going to double check this is accurate. Nazi experiment. If I can spell experiment right. Experiment. Babies speaking ancient Hebrew. Hold on. 1900s. Experiment. Babies with no human interaction spoke ancient Hebrew. Hold on. Y'all can read that. Just give me a second.
Why can't everyone just like
Hold up. find. Hold on. Wait a second. Okay. Wait, no, seriously, how? Wait, hold up. Sorry. Okay.
Doesn't make you less of a human than someone that's lighter than you. That's not how that works. We are human. And then empathy to create laws that, indicate this and support this idea that we are all humans and none of us are greater than each other. Empathy and common sense, we put value in human life, making all of us valuable on the equal plane.
That's not scientific. Oops. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, that's not scientific. That's not scientific that people are equal. There's no science that proves that. Um, like you can't prove that with science. You have to have an objective basis for morality. Or some basis for morality. Empathy is too. It varies too much, and there's no reason to follow your empathy. Why follow your empathy? Why does anything matter on atheism? Without God, why does anything matter? There's no meaning. And if there's no meaning to life, we should have never found out that there is no meaning. And if so we need some basis to hold our morality together, and that's God. And so without the subjective basis for morality being God, it becomes more like into a gray area, and this is where it become less moral. And that's where racism and sexism and homophobia and all these things come into play. As people enter this gray area without a basis, and hatred comes in play here as well. And so, with this objective basis being God, this is where we get that people are equal. And if you read the Bible, everyone's created equally in God's image. Everyone is created equal in God's image. It says that there is no man nor woman, Jew nor Gentile, slave or free, rich nor poor, for we are all equal under Christ Jesus. So this thought of us being equal and all created in God's image, and that not to judge by appearance alone, but judge righteously. This all comes from Christianity. This all comes from Judeo-Christian values. The West, people move to the West because move to Western countries like America, Canada, Western Europe, because it's built on Judeo-Christian values, and so our society is much more moral. and it's gotten a lot less moral and a lot more hectic since less people have since more people have turned away from God.
View. And you standing out here saying that you can scientifically prove that you have the same worth and value as this man right here, it does make no sense whatsoever, because ever since the
Value doesn't exist on atheism. Value like can't have an atheistic basis.
beginning of time,
You can say evolution, and what's evolutionary beneficial, but like, how do you know that's true? Like, how do you know that's like, why follow truth? Like, what's your basis? Why follow the truth? And what's good? Like, benefit, like, if it benefits you, it's good. And what's good? Like, why is anything good? Why is anything bad? There's no basis for these things.
different worldviews have popped up saying that you have more value because of your skin. Others out here have
Shoot, this is more atheistic worldviews and without like objective basis. Being God. What's up? Hmm? I can't understand what you're saying. You're mumbling. Bro, y'all are annoying. Like low key. I'm live streaming right now. YouTube. No, I have a Christian apologetics channel on YouTube. Yeah. No, I have my AirPod in. They can't hear you. So I'm not playing anything. I'm reacting to a video. Chill, CJ. I don't want you. All right. Bolicious. All right. Well, I'm gonna get back to streaming. Bye, bye, Zach. Bye, Dakota. Bye, CJ. Bye, CJ. Sorry. Those are my friends. They call me. All right. As I was saying, so yeah, you have no objective morality or no basis for any truth or morality on atheism.
stated explicitly to me, I have more value than you because I make more money than you.
Also, the caste system in India is very like racist and degrading towards people, and India is actually the most racist country in the world because they're built on Hinduism and not built on Judeo-Christian values. And the Middle East is very like racist and very like un unloving and very violent because they're built on Muslim values, and so the Judeo-Christian values are the most moral, and this is what Western morality is built on.
And
And that's just plain out fact. Like, you can't deny this. This is, yeah.
science is the one that came out and say you're bullshitting. We are the same.
Before, like, in Genesis it says we're all made in the image of God. In the New Testament, that was written 2,000 years ago, says that there's nor slave nor free, rich nor poor, man or woman, Jew nor Gentile, for we are all equal in Christ Jesus. No, it wasn't science. What? What is this guy smoking, bro? What? What do you mean science says, no, we're all equal? No, science doesn't say that. It's Judeo-Christian values that built the Western world that says that. It was Christians who abolished slavery. It was Christians who led the feminist movement in the early 1900s. But then when it was taken over by atheists, it got a lot worse, and it was a lot less of like equality and more like superiority. Like third and fourth wave feminism is stupid, and that's because it was more atheistic based and less Judeo-Christian based than the first and second wave.
Nobody's standing out here that I've heard saying that atomically or just how you're physically made up, that means you have just as much value as he does. Who gives you that value? Who gives him?
We give each other the same value. We give each other value. That's why.
Based on what? And not the whole world. Only the countries that are built on Judeo-Christian values give everyone like equal value. No countries that aren't built on Judeo-Christian values are like that give like people like believe in equality and practice equality. Only countries that are built on non-Judeo-Christian values are the ones that are more violent and less loving. So no, it's Judeo-Christian values that give people. No, my Dr. Pepper fell. It's empty though. Where's my bottle cap? There it is. Okay, I'm just gonna put it on the ground. It's fine. And I dropped my AirPod case and the top fell off. That's great. Let me put this back on. I gotta like super glue this back on when I get some super glue tomorrow. Alright. So, yeah, it's Judeo-Christian values that build the West and give people equality. It's not science. And then to say it's science say it's society is like is stupidity and it's ignorance.
I don't think it's completely just science. I think a part of it comes from society.
None of it's science and society. What was a society built on? It was built on Judeo-Christian values. Oops. Oopsie. Whoopsie daisies. By the way, I don't have it full screen because I want to be able to see the chat. So.
Itself. So science shows that we are the same. We are human species. And we come to a conclusion that it makes sense not to think anyone.
And it was
is
actually
more
rumored that
valuable
Werner von Braun was
Hello,
in
and
communication
welcome
with the
to Black Bear
Nephilim, which the
Atheists.
Nazi
I have
party
not
believed
covered
were
it.
aliens, and were offering human sacrifices to these beings in exchange. And it was actually rumored that Werner von Braun was in communication with the Nephilim, which the
Hello and welcome to Black Bear.
Son, Charles Francis, appreciation of time spent.
As he does. Who gives you that value? Who gives him?
Become a Christian, a loving Christian, human species.
Physically made up, that means you have just as much value as he does. Who gives you that value? Who gives him?
We give each other the same value. We give each other value. That's
Based on
why
Christian
I don't think it's completely just science. I think a part of it comes from society itself.
Built on Judeo-Christian values.
So science shows that we are the same. We are human species. And we come to a conclusion that it makes sense not to think anyone is more valuable than.
But why? No. Why does it make sense? Explain that conclusion. I don't understand. Can you explain that conclusion, please? Yeah, because I would love to hear the explanation of that conclusion. Just because we're all human beings doesn't mean we all have the same value. Like, do you value if a dog? Okay, if you have two pit bulls and one pit bull is mean and vicious and will attack you, and one pit bull is loving and is amazing, and they're same and like and all this. Why would you love the nice pit bull more than the mean pit bull? They're both just pit bulls. They're both just pit bulls. But and so yeah, but and so it's not just because we're all humans we have the same value, but it's because humans are given value from Judeo-Christian values that come from the Bible. So yeah, try again.
And others, because that makes sense. We're not. You're not.
We're not what?
In that value.
That just makes sense. You're not. We're not. You can't just what?
That's just wrong.
You're claiming to be an atheist, but you're really a Christian.
Oh yes, out of every other religion, yeah, he's claiming to be a Christian.
He's saying that he has like Christian values. Like he's saying all humans have value, equal value, which comes from the Bible. That comes from Judeo-Christian values that come from the Bible.
What an idiot. Yeah, but you're claiming.
What an idiot. He claims that science built morality. Alright, let's watch this.
Me to be an atheist, but you know what? Deep down your heart, God has planted that seed and it's gonna grow and you're gonna become a Christian. A loving Christian.
Okay. Okay, whatever you say. You do you, boo-boo.
How do you find the motivation to turn away from sin and to live life on that narrow path when you could just give your life to Christ at the 11th hour?
Hold on, why don't you preach modesty to her?
What if you die? One. Two, if you believe in Jesus Christ and his character and how much he loves you and understand the cross, then that becomes so attractive that no part of you wants to say, deathbed conversion. See, when my friend said to me,
No, deathbed conversion is so much cooler and so much attractive than just living your life like an idiot. Like you can do literally anything and just do a deathbed conversion and you still end up in heaven.
oh, Stuart, let's just become Christians in our 40s because we want to smoke a lot of pot, sleep around now, and do whatever we want.
40s?
Okay, but you don't know when you're gonna die. You could walk outside tomorrow and get hit by a car. You never know when you're gonna die, so it's not worth the risk. Also, my life has been so much better since I've come to Christ. And you have to be genuine with the deathbed conversion. Like you can't just like on your deathbed be like, Jesus is Lord, and then die. Like you have to be genuine about it. And if you're not genuine about it and you genuinely believe it, then you're not gonna go to heaven. So yeah. Deathbed conversion is not it.
Do it in your 70s. Actually, push them more back. 80s. I mean, the average life expectancy for, I believe, men is around 85, 86, or maybe women. So, convert in your 80s and spend 5 years being alive. And if you're more alive after, 5 years of waiting, make a change. Do it in your 90s.
Where are you getting 80 from? It's like I think it's like 75 for women, 70 for men. Okay, what's wrong? I see where he gets 80 from.
Oh, in some ways
Was
that
that
makes a lot of
slower?
sense.
85, 86, or maybe women.
Okay, no, women it's 80, men it's 79.
So, convert in your 80s and spend 5 years
Listen.
being alive. And if
Listen.
you're more alive after, 5 years of waiting, make a change. Do it in your 90s.
I'm sorry. That was mean. That was so mean. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're watching this, Blackberry Theus. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All love. No homo. No homo. Not like loving weird, but like you know what I mean.
Oh, in some ways that makes a lot of sense.
My question is, how do you find the motivation, especially when starting is so hard?
And I would confess, say, God, I don't have a drive to worship you. I don't have a drive to actually live out a type of character that is filled with peace, love, joy, goodness, faithfulness. That's the sort of thing starting there. Secondly, I'll get into a very healthy church.
That doesn't help. Praying for God to do something for you doesn't help. I mean, do you know how much people have prayed for things and the answer never came? And when the answer come, they were the one that actually worked their ass to get there. It is just a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So God can give you the opportunities. So you need to take opportunities into your own hands and bro, stop spamming the group chat. Okay, sorry. Like God can give you opportunities to do something and you don't want to just rely fully on God, but you need to trust God that things will work out, and you need to be able to take opportunities into your own hands and allow God to help you work through things. So it's not just like, oh, Sky Daddy, do it for me. It's like I have guidance from God and I have help from God, but I still do it myself in a way. And also, God knows what's best. God knows what's best. He's all-knowing. He knows the best outcome for each situation and how to get to the best outcome. And whatever the best outcome is, sometimes you need to sacrifice for a better outcome. And for example, let's say there's a kid, okay, and this kid is riding in the back seat of a car, and his dad is driving, and his dad has a GPS. Okay. And so his dad's looking on the GPS, and he sees 5 miles ahead, there's going to be traffic. So the dad he's driving home. He's driving home, by the way. And he says 5 miles ahead, there's going to be traffic. So he takes an alternate route to avoid the traffic. And the road might be bumpier on this alternate route. And the road might be more uphill at some places. And this road might be a little longer. But the driver knows, hey, this is going to be a quicker way because we avoid the traffic, and there's going to be a better way because we avoid the traffic that's up ahead. But the kid in the back is wondering, why are we going down this bumpier road? Why are we going down this steeper road? Why aren't we going the way we usually go? And the kid in the back is confused. But he'll learn when they get home that, oh, this was a better way. And when he hears about the traffic that he avoided, he'll realize it's a better way. But he won't always learn about the traffic that he avoided. But the father who was driving the car knew all along that he was just avoiding traffic, and so it was a better route in the long run. And you got to look at it like that. And you look at it like that, it's a lot better because you live your life more optimistically. And you trust God. And you love God. And it's just a much better way to live. I'm tired.
I guess you can pray your, problems away.
Where there's
It's not like Sky Daddy Bellboy, ring, 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 help me, I need help, ring, 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 ring. It's like developing a connection with God and a relationship with Him, and your life will start to change and for the better, like-minded. And it's not pray your problems away, but pray that you get an opportunity to make it better, or someone gets an opportunity to make your situation better, and yeah.
you're being encouraged by many
So it's a scarecrow. It's a straw man. It's a straw man of the truth.
believers, and you're being held accountable.
How do you find
Do you believe that we have 100% free will? That
No.
we're okay. How does that play into free will? Like if it was already decided and he already knew.
Now, obviously, this is a hard question.
So this is actually probably one of gonna be the best shorts that we're gonna see today. The free will dilemma. Do you believe we have 100% free will? No. Why is that? Is it because of Adam and Eve's sin? How the fuck does that affect us? Why should we care? Why should we have 100% free will when we are not Adam and fucking Eve? Let's hear the answer.
Followers of Christ will disagree on this one. God is eternal. No beginning, no end. We're locked into time.
Like how is God working things out for good if he doesn't?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, and you're going to a different realm of bullshit. And you could still argue that you don't have free will even if God is eternal and we're in within time. Which, again, if you're going that far to talk about free will, you could still argue that God actually still argue. It's clear in the Bible that you don't have free will, even with the eternal attributes to God.
Directly influence our choices.
That is exactly where the sovereignty of God and free will come together. God is big enough, good enough, and powerful enough to take my boneheaded decisions, your boneheaded decisions, and work them out to bring some type of good out of there. It doesn't.
God is big enough, strong enough to do bullshit. So God decided during the Canaanite time and during the flood that it was the right time to wipe out the entire planet and to kill a specific type of people for his land and his glory. But he didn't do the same when it came to Hitler. He let Hitler kill 6 million Jews and many more during the war. Does that really make any sense?
Okay, so yes, we do have free will. Adam and Eve had free will, and they chose to sin, and because that sin entered the world, we entered a fallen world and a fallen society. So, we entered this. So, with our free will, we do have free will, and in the Bible, we clearly do have free will. But sometimes God intervenes for the benefit of the people. So look at the flood. I described before the flood. Terrible things were happening. Women were getting pregnant from angels, and so half humans, half fallen angel creatures were being born, and they were terrorizing citizens and terrorizing the planet. And there was mass adultery, mass killing, all these things, terrible things. This is the worst society to live in. And we don't even know how many people were alive at the time, but hold on. See if here's the any answer. How many people died in the flood Bible? There's no indication that 8 billion people are greater than that either available from science. It was 8 people. 8 people. 50. 8 people. So that was, but I don't know how many people died, but there could have been any number of people. It could have been billions. But all these people were evil and terrible and turning away from God, and God was like, it would be better for the world that I kill everyone but these 8 righteous people, because these 8 righteous people will make the world better. And they did. And I don't think the world has gotten as worse. But yeah, so yeah, so and then the Canaanites were terrible people. They were doing terrible things, and it's like, well, these people need to be liberated, and these people need to these people need to be. This civilization is ruining the world and making the world worse, and they need to be wiped out. And the same thing happened in World War II. The Nazis were wiped out. All the Nazis were stopped. The Nazis were stopped. They would have killed more Jews. If it weren't for us stopping them. So I don't see your point. Like, what? The Nazis killed. They would have killed more Jews if we didn't go in and eradicate the Nazis. Okay.
People.
And liberate Germany. Liberate the Jews.
So he decides sometime it's okay for people to have free will to kill each other. Slaughter each other. But when they start having sex with the wrong people, when they start being attracted to an angel, all of a sudden rain down fire, because that makes so much sense. But let's not.
Okay. Rain down fire when people. Oh, is he talking about Sodom and Gomorrah? The sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was inhospitality, in hospitality, and it was inhospitality, and homosexuality, and they were doing so many more evil things. What? So it was rape, inhospitality, there's adultery, homosexuality, murder. All these things were being committed in Sodom and Gomorrah, and there was a lot of it being committed in Sodom and Gomorrah. So it wasn't just this one sin of Sodom and Gomorrah that caused him to do that, but it was like all these sins stack on top of each other, and there's so many people committing them, and like all this, you know. So, and all sin is equal in the eyes of God, and so yeah, God stopped these people who were doing these terrible things. I don't see your point. Like, you're making it seem like the Nazis were never stopped. The Nazis were stopped. Like, what are you talking about? Okay.
Don't forget, this God is all powerful, all knowing, all loving, and He definitely cares so much about us. And He's also a genius.
He cares so much about us that he sacrificed his only son. Alright, think of it like this analogy. There's a bus driver. Yep. Oh, yes, ma'am. So here's this analogy. So here's the analogy. So there's a bus driver and the kids on the bus. And this bus is full of kids, right? But the kids on the bus are very bad and very ungrateful, and they are very hateful towards the bus driver, and they take the brakes off the bus. They uninstall the brakes on the bus. And there's a turn coming up, and obviously you need to slow down on a turn, but the bus driver can't slow down on the turn. Either he has to crash this bus and killing all the kids, or he sees a gate that's straight ahead of him. He can take the turn and kill most of the kids, or he can crash into this gate that will slow down the bus. This gate will slow down the bus, but save all the kids. But in front of the gate is a kid. There's another kid. And this kid is in front of the gate. And the bus driver turns towards the gate, hoping the kid will move out of the way, and he's going towards the gate, foot off the gas, but he's going towards the gate, and the kid doesn't move out of the way. The kid he doesn't move out of the way, and going towards this gate, the closer he gets, the more he realizes this kid's not going to move out of the way. And he runs over the kid and hits the gate, and the kid's body actually helps slow down the bus, and same with the gate. And the bus is stopped, and the kids get off, and the parents hug their children. And the bus driver feels he has done the right thing, sacrificing this one child to save every other child that's on the bus. But that one child he ran over was his own son, was the bus driver's own son. So he loved every single kid on the bus and valued every single kid on the bus so much that to save all those kids on the bus, despite all those terrible things those kids were doing, he cared about them so much, he sacrificed his own son to save every single kid on that bus. And that bus driver, and to say that that bus driver was unloving because he didn't stop the kids from being disobedient, even though he was so loving enough to sacrifice his own son for the sake of those children, all those kids, is ignorance and stupidity, and it's just plain wrong. And so, yeah.
Obviously.
Does it mean it's all good? It does not. But as long as you have a heart to do His will, if you have to make a decision and it's not clear, you go ahead and you use the free will that God has given you. And because God is good.
You see, that really did not answer the question. She was asking how that works. If you don't have complete free will, what do you mean free will then? No.
He's not going to allow you to blow it. And Jesus did not say, do not do to others as you would not have them do to you. I can follow that. I don't have to do anything. I can sit in my dorm room in my home. Do not do to others what you don't want them to do to you. So that's how I'm going to treat you and you. I'm just not going to do what I don't want you to do to me. Jesus didn't say that. He said, do to others as you would have them do to you, which means I have to engage with you. I have to be willing to sacrifice for you. I have to be willing to protect you if you are attacked. And that's scary. And that's dangerous. Following Christ is...
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Bro, watch your language.
Unto others as you would like to be done to yourself? If you don't like to be slapped, then you shouldn't be slapping others. If you don't like to be disturbed, and other religious people coming to you and disturbing your life and preaching to you, you shouldn't be doing the same.
Trusting.
Do you think he's really going to be bothered? Do you think he's going to be bothered if a Buddhist comes up and preaches, or if a Muslim comes up and preaches, or a Jew comes up and preaches? He's not going to be bothered? What? I wouldn't be bothered. If any religious person comes up and preaches, I don't care. I would be loving towards them and show them the truth. And yeah, so what? That's what? Okay, that's just making assumptions that aren't even true, that don't even make sense. So like what? Okay.
Him.
Some of these points he's making make no sense and are just... Okay.
Surrendering my life to Him and allowing Him to change me from the inside out.
This is the same guy that talks about free will, by the way.
And ma'am, that is far more difficult, far more challenging than just having a set of rules.
Again, same guy that talked about free will, and I must also point out that if God is changing you, that means He's making a choice not to change atheists and any other atheists out there.
So, we're talking about Jesus out here and following Him. When Jesus was bleeding and dying on the cross, two thieves were hung on either side of Him. And the first thief said, "Come on, miracle boy from Nazareth, get us off these crosses. And then based on that evidence, we'll believe in you." Second criminal looked at the first criminal and said, "You idiot, we bleed and die here because we deserve it. But this Jesus, He's the innocent, holy, pure Son of God."
And out of...
Hold on 1 second. Fresh chat. Okay. Alright.
Fuck did you came to that conclusion? So you were on your cross and you're about to die. And somehow you thought we have literally Son of God right in the middle of us and we're both going to die. But all of a sudden he's going to save us even though we don't deserve the mercy.
And that second criminal looked into the face of Christ and said, Lord Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Come on, miracle boy from Nazareth.
Same guy that talked about free will, and I must also point out that if God is changing you, that means he's making a choice not to change atheists and any other atheists out there.
You got to be willing to the change. He's not gonna force you into anything. He's not gonna force you into anything, and because he's so loving and. So you gotta be willing, and you gotta accept God, and clearly you're not doing that. All right, let's keep going, y'all.
So, we're talking about Jesus out here and following him. When Jesus was bleeding and dying on the cross, two thieves were hung on either side of him. And the first thief said, come on, miracle boy from Nazareth, get us off these crosses. And then based on that evidence, we'll believe in you. Second criminal looked at the first criminal and said, you idiot, we bleed and die here because we deserve it. But this Jesus, he's the innocent, holy, pure Son of God.
And how the fuck did you come to that conclusion?
Because he saw Jesus' miracles. And he saw that he fulfilled Old Testament prophecy. Like, what? Okay.
So you were on your cross and you're about to die. And somehow you thought we have literally Son of God right in the middle of us and we're both going to die. But all of a sudden he's going to save us even though we don't deserve the mercy.
And that second criminal...
Well, yeah. The first criminal was an idiot. The second criminal wasn't. The second criminal was smart. Because he came to Christ.
looked into the face of Christ and said,
know,
Lord
not
Jesus,
funny.
remember me when you come into your kingdom.
Yep.
Jesus could have looked the guy in the face.
Evidence for those who wants to say the last prayer when they're about to die and make sure like they go into heaven. If they party their entire life and the last second they deserve to say, Lord, forgive me.
Okay, they can't just say, Lord, forgive me. They have to truly believe, and they have to be fully accepting to God. Like, they can't just say that. They have to, and they can't just say a prayer. They have to be perfectly willing and perfectly accepting of God. So, I don't know what you mean. And you gotta be perfectly convinced. So, I don't know what you mean.
They go into heaven.
This is a straw man argument.
And said, no problem, just get down off the cross, say 12 Hail Marys, genuflect a bit, and serve in a soup kitchen, and maybe we'll consider you as a candidate for heaven. And Jesus Christ says, no way. Jesus Christ says, good old boys, go to hell. He paid the penalty for my sin, for your sin, and when we put our...
The classic, when we put our faith in him, he's going to do miracle works, and he's going to get you into heaven. But faith, based on what he's saying prior, a guy demands evidence, and didn't get any, obviously. A man demand evidence, and Jesus was not content with that. But a man just believed that he's the Son of God without any evidence, and Jesus is content with that. We are to believe.
The first criminal didn't have any faith. The first criminal was ignorant, and the first criminal was like, if you're really the Son of God, get us off these crosses. And was laughing at him and mocking him in a way. The second criminal was like, nah, we deserve to die here. Jesus, he's dying here. He's dying here even though he doesn't deserve it. And so what was I saying? Alright, so the second criminal actually had faith. It's not that the second criminal didn't have any evidence, but he had true faith and wasn't mocking God and all this. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's not that he didn't have any evidence, it's that he truly believed. Alright.
In this guy, that he actually rose from the dead
Ugh.
with no evidence.
He rose from the dead, and there's evidence. Eyewitness testimony and early church creed. Sorry, I know I'm not good at singing. Early church creed and eyewitness testimony. And like, there's no non-Christian sources that Jesus rose from the dead. Yeah, because all the sources, all the people who documented Jesus rising from the dead, they became Christian because they saw a freaking dude rising from the dead. If I see you rise from the dead, I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna follow what you say if I see you rise from the dead.
How in the world does that make more sense?
How in the world are you this ignorant?
Our faith in him,
Don't speak out of ignorance ever. Don't be afraid to admit ignorance. So,
he gives us something we don't earn, we don't merit, we don't deserve, the gift of forgiveness and eternal life.
We don't earn, we don't inherit. Like, come on. He made us, he's responsible. According to the stories, he is responsible, 100%. We stop today. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video,
don't blame God for your mistakes. It's like saying your parents. It's your parents' fault that anything bad happens to you because they gave birth to you. Like, what? What? No, that's not how that works. It's not how that works. Alright. And we easily debunked this guy. This was too easy. So, if y'all want to see more, if you want to see me debunk someone else, comment down below. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video, and I will see y'all in the next video. Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you, and God bless. Shoo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo, ba-shoo-ba-doo, shub.